Welcome, Tech Divas, to this episode of the Tech Diva Success podcast. As always, we bring you different guests from all walks of life, and this time we're with Taly Matiteyahu, and she is the founder and CEO of Blink, a new dating app that's challenging online dating norms. So this was inspired by a revolutionary experience she had at a blackout restaurant where she befriended her fellow diners and felt the power of connecting with others free from look-driven assumptions. So basically, if you don't know a blackout restaurant, you can't see the food or the people or the waiters, but you get to taste the experience. And that's such a great analogy for dating. So she was inspired, as many of us are, and brought it to life with Blink, the app. And she got her bachelor's degree from New York University before earning her JD. So she's a very, very smart woman from Columbia Law School in 2015. And after working at the big law firm in New York City, she practiced in legal for a few more years in legal operations, doing a very innovative role there at Datadog and now at Netflix before transitioning to being a product manager at Evisort. Did I say that right, Taly?
Evisort.
Okay.
Evisort. Although
Evisort.
people at Evisort say it all sorts of ways. So
Evisort, Evisort, tomato. Either way, it's an AI-powered legal tech solution. So it's really the marriage of legal and technology and connecting with people. And so she's going to share some of her secrets that she gained from her career journey today with us. So thank you for being on the show, Taly.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, why don't you start with kind of the roots and take people through, and I know you're going to stop along the way and share with our listeners kind of what you learned. And I think what they can gain from it is a little bit of forgiveness for themselves to fail or learn from those and fail fast. And obviously it worked for you. You're doing great. I'm excited about the app. I'm not dating, but I assume that in this day and age with the pandemic, people are open to anything. So what a great opportunity. So why don't you get us started?
So hearing you even, read off my bio and hearing you talk about me going to law school and being at the firm, it's kind of crazy to me to think that that was only 5 years ago. And I am now working in product management, not at all practicing law, and really just thinking about the journey that I took to get there. And so I guess the first stop was really after law school, going to a law firm. And in terms of realizing that I made this big mistake in going to law school, investing so much time and money into this thing that I thought I wanted to do for so long, and having that moment of realization, like this place isn't for me, realizing it was okay that I made the mistake, and then starting to kind of explore the other things that I was interested in. And so, I think that's where I'd like to kind of start sharing my journey. Definitely that point of kind of that pivot point that I had in my career of, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to start thinking about other things that you want to do. It's okay to not like the role you're doing or the culture that you're in, and look for something that would suit you better.
And how did you overcome that feeling of investment, right? Law school is such a great investment. Was there a secret there on a pivot when you've done something like that? Or say someone gets a medical degree and then moves into technology?
I don't know if you can get past it, because as I can share, I'm still paying off the student loans of it. So it's hard to kind of put it behind me in many ways. But I guess I am sort of trying to think about it in terms of, in some ways, having the law degree, even if I'm not utilizing it in terms of, my day-to-day career, has given me a level of credibility. It shares with people a little bit more about my journey. And it taught me a lot in terms of what I want to do and what I don't want to do. And so while it was a very expensive lesson to have learned, it's one that I'm grateful to have had. And so I sort of see it as, a very expensive lesson. And so I don't know. And there, like I said, a lot of forgiveness for myself in terms of, reaching the law firm. I had a lot of fear about letting people down, and when I decided to leave it, and I was worried about what my parents would think. I was worried about what my old classmates would think, my colleagues, and just kind of dealing with that and accepting that even if I disappointed someone, what was really important was that what I was I was happy with what I was doing with, on a day-to-day basis. And so just kind of really trying to refocus what's important, accepting that even if I disappointed someone, it was going to be okay. And just kind of like, taking myself out of the emotions of it and thinking like, okay, it might be difficult for the next month, but long-term, it's really what I want to do. And that's better for me.
Yeah, and you still use it, so it wasn't completely wasted.
Yes.
So what did you learn in that?
That life is too short. If you're not happy, you should try to change things so that you can be happy. And it's okay to jump from something you're unhappy with to something that you're not sure about yet, because life is a journey. And I think a lot of times when people make a career change, they feel like they can't leave what they're doing right now unless they know exactly what they have to do next, because otherwise they have to do it all over again. And honestly, if you've done it once, it's not that hard to do it again. So it's okay to take that leap and to try something new, even though you're not sure about it. And if you don't like that, just pivot again. And you're learning throughout the journey, you're picking up new skills throughout the way. So it's not a lost period of time or a lost lesson. You're just kind of building, and you're turning into who you're going to be in a year anyway. And it's going to be better than what you're doing now, which you already know you don't like. So take that leap, and take that risk.
And then you
Yeah.
made the transition to this small startup. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I was super excited to be joining a startup and super excited to be kind of entering the tech space. I'd been at a tech company before law school for a year when I was living in Israel, and I just loved the energy and the vibe and the collaboration. Everyone's like trying to move the ball forward. Everyone is kind of interested in innovation. And that was, a complete change of pace from being at a law firm. And so I was just really excited about that level of energy and that kind of ethos and culture. And I really loved being at a startup. I was there at the startup I was at from when it was 250 people to 1,000-ish people. So it was in that hyper growth stage, and it was just really exciting and awesome. And I got to do this kind of really unique role known as legal operations, which combines kind of that legal skill set and knowledge, but in this kind of tech space. So using a lot of systems and processes and automations to streamline legal work and make it more efficient and support kind of the whole org and not just the legal team.
And did you face any challenges there? Like, what did you like about that role, and what was challenging in the startup space?
I liked, and I think this applied in kind of my future roles as well, that I had a ton of autonomy, because it was such a niche space. My managers generally just let me kind of run with it because they were busy negotiating deals and actually doing kind of the job of a lawyer. And so to them, as long as I was getting things done, they didn't really, bother with the nitty gritty of it. And so I had a ton of ownership over what I was doing, and I loved that. The challenge was that because it's such a niche space and nobody really, like my managers didn't really focus on it at all that much, there wasn't a ton of opportunity for growth. And as somebody who's young and ambitious, I wanted to know that there was going to be a way for me to learn more, to grow more, to have a team, to expand the function. And that was really hard, especially at a startup, because, legal, for example, it's a money tank. They don't invest in it a ton, and legal operations even less so, this new kind of and growing space. And so there wasn't a lot of interest in kind of investing in that function. And it was hard to kind of want to grow and not feel like there was room for me to.
And so from that small startup, you're doing a great job
Yeah.
taking us through your chapters and giving us lessons. What did you learn from that?
That even if you love something and even if you love it and even if you love where you are, sometimes you need to kind of spread your wings, to use a cliche, in order to grow. And so it's okay to leave a good thing in order to develop yourself further and kind of find more opportunities. So I ended up, leaving Datadog to head off to Netflix, much bigger company. Some might have heard of it. And so it was really sad for me to be leaving this team and this company that I love, that I'd been with, from not small startup days, but from a fairly small point to the point where it was really growing, and kind of, it felt like a rocket ship and I was getting off too early. But it was just a choice I had to make for my career. And it's been, yeah, quite an adventure. So sometimes it's okay to kind of jump off at a moment that you're not sure if you're ready, and just see where it takes you. The only thing that is constant at Netflix is that it's always changing. I think that's the phrase that they use. So it's,
Yeah, I'm sure that's used it more than Netflix.
yes. Netflix is incredible. It was obviously an established company. My team was very new. I was on the original animation team. And I joined, I think almost everyone on my team had joined within the past 6 months when I had first joined. So it was in like the team itself was in the startup stage where we were growing exponentially within such a short period of time, and establishing processes and a mini culture within itself. And Netflix itself obviously has a very established culture company-wide of freedom and responsibility, transparency, feedback. And so kind of pulling that into our small team, it was definitely an adventure. And it was chill in many ways, but not chill in other ways because it was so busy, not in a bad way.
Yes, a lot of change. I'm sure it would be very busy now, but you've moved on and now you're working full time, and you're also kind of in the startup space yet again from a lot of
Yeah.
that experience. So tell us about what you've learned and what lessons you have for our tech divas with
Yeah.
Blink.
Yeah. So, during my time at Netflix, I realized that the thing I was most passionate about in my legal operations role was building things. And so, for so long, I'd been identifying problems and then not really having the chance to act on those problems and build solutions. And so I started working on some things at Netflix, but then I realized, I've had this idea for Blink for so long. Let me start building that. And so I started building the app back in June was when we first started development. And so it's been a few months now. I started working on Blink while I was at Netflix, in the evenings and on weekends. It was something that I did on my spare time, and I still have a full-time job, and I'm working on Blink and my kind of nights and weekends. So it's kind of like my second job. And so take the opportunity to do that. You don't have to, leave your full-time job in order to work on an idea. You can really just sort of explore it while still doing it. Because I know one of the things that people can be afraid of in exploring their own ideas is stability and security. If I leave my day job, I don't have a salary, or I don't have insurance, or all of these things. Start exploring it while you're at your job, and start taking on opportunities to get the skills that you need to, work on whatever idea. So if you really want to do something in design, start trying to take on design opportunities. Or if you're super curious about kind of doing something marketing wise, ask somebody on your marketing team if they have any resources. So definitely take advantage of the resources that you have around you, and don't be afraid to kind of sacrifice some of your nights and weekends, I guess, to start exploring it.
It's all about that side hustle, baby. And
It is.
I like how it kind of goes back to what you said earlier around passion. Like it seems like you've kind of made a lot of decisions in this journey you've shared around what you really like doing. I like building. I
Mm-hmm.
heard that, I liked growing a team, doing more challenges. So that kind of takes you to what you can do now with Blink. And I
Yeah.
just can't wait to hear what you learned in that chapter as
Yeah.
you're
So
learning.
I'm learning every day. I think the biggest lesson here is you got to do everything, and you got to be open to learning, and you have to be ready to ask questions, and it's okay to not know the answer. And I think that's also like, something that people get caught up in. Like, I don't know how to do this, so I can't do it. Like, no, just dive in, ask questions, do some research, get it wrong, and, keep trying until you get it right. Because if you don't do it, nobody else is going to do it for you. And if it's something that you're interested in, something that you're passionate about, you should pursue it, because in all likelihood, that's the thing that'll spark the most joy for you.
Yep, hear that, sparking joy. Right on brand. Thanks. But you're right. Those are the things that can get us going. And I like what you said too, because it's taking action. So a lot of
Hmm.
times just putting something out there, a minimum viable product, a thing. And I think that ties right into feedback, because a lot of times scrappy entrepreneurs in the startup, including myself, I don't do everything perfect, but it's there. And so that's
Right.
why it's so important to get that
And
feedback.
I think you actually said, what was the formula? It was R plus O equals, no. O was the outcome. So I'm trying to remember what your
Oh,
formula is, but it really spoke to me.
E,
Uh,
E,
E plus R
equals
equals
O.
O.
Yes. If you haven't listened to
Yes.
that one, it's a great episode. And the premise is just the events in your life and how you respond to them give you an outcome.
Outcomes.
So if you have a passion for an idea, you go to this restaurant, you get inspired. What is your response? Write it down, take action, tell a bunch of people and never do anything, or just do it little by little. And now you have this outcome, and Blink is coming alive in the blink of an
Yeah.
eye. So how is it going with that? And what have you already learned?
Yeah, it's going well. What I've learned is, I think, for context, I'm not a technical person, as you could have guessed by my background. I'm a lawyer. So, I'm very basic scripts, but not much more than that. It's okay to, like I said, lean on other people for help. And so, um, I found a developer who was able to build it, and we're about a week away from having an app in test flight. So really excited to be launching. Um, yeah, it's just been a journey. I've been learning about marketing. I've been learning about SEO. I've been learning about tax things, legal things, legal structures, which you think I'd already know, but law school does not teach you that. And it's been an adventure, and I've just really loved every moment of it.
Well, law school did teach you to figure that out, and that is why you've been able to come here. So it wasn't money wasted at all, because you have figured it out, and you are so smart and driven,
Thank you.
and you're just at the beginning of this journey. So I'm married, so I won't be using the Blink app at this time, but I'm going to follow your journey and see what you continue to learn and can share with Tech Divas, because I think this is a really diverse perspective. That's what I'm trying to do on the show, bring back people from all kinds of backgrounds into this show, my side
Yeah,
hustle,
I love that.
to do that. So, what's your final takeaway here that's really stood out for you that can help Tech Divas be successful from your journey?
Take ownership of your career and what you're doing. If you're unhappy, or if you want to explore something, like Nicole said, that response is what matters in order to get that outcome. It's okay, the event, whatever that event is, whether it's, being dissatisfied or being curious about something else, it's that response that you take that matters. And so take ownership and take that leap and give it a try, and be creative about how to do it, whether it's, like I said, on your free time, or, side projects in your day job. Just try, and it's okay to fail.
Well, Taly, you've been a great little fountain of wisdom here for us in this process. And if people want to follow up with you, maybe they're interested in this app you're
Yes.
building, or just to connect with you, what's the best way to do so?
Yes, they can find us on all social at The Blank Date, on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and our website is www.theblinkdate.com. I'm on Twitter on my personal account at Taly Matiteyahu, but I'm not very active there, so would definitely approach first on the business side, because I'm very responsive on that world.
As you should be. We can't do it all. And we will put those links in there, and you will be a rising star, and we can't wait for you to shine bright in whatever you
Thank
do,
you.
because you have a lot of great work ahead of you. So congratulations to you. You're doing it. You're working hard. I see you. I know that it's not always easy to do everything, to be behind the scenes, and to birth a app is also an effort. Which has quite an incubation period to get there. So
Yes.
congrats. I hope it goes awesome.
Thank you.
And thanks to all of our listeners out there. You heard kind of some ERO in action. So again, check out that video if you haven't, because essentially all of the things we respond to, how we handle everything in our everyday life, leads to these outcomes. And those outcomes are your life experience. That is your career journey. That is your mark that you're leaving on this world for yourself, and that's your journey. And so stay kind out there and support each other, and let's continue to spark Tech Diva success together. Thanks again, Taly. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.